Hey guys, welcome to another video, and today we're going to be looking at finding the right niche in 15 minutes. So we've got a lot to do. Please get a pen and paper or on your phone so you can do this yourself in real time, and we'll get cracking. Again, no gatekeeping whatsoever. I'm going to give you everything I know from working in marketing over the last 10 years to help you find this niche. So let's get started. So first of all, finding the right niche. Remember that people really struggle with niche quite a lot. They tend to have a lot of reservations about it because they feel like they're going to segregate or isolate themselves. Find a niche allows you to position yourself in a way that you can be competitive and not against the mass market. If you can see Amazon back in the day, this is what a lot of big companies did. Like Amazon started with just selling books online, and then now they do absolutely everything. So it is good to niche, but it's about finding the right niche. When we're also talking about niche, we're also looking at positioning, okay? So where you position yourself within a certain segment, and we're going to be doing that today because there's sometimes a little bit of confusion about that. So first of all, before we start a niche, we've got to find a few things and agree on a few things. First of all, the market demands what it demands, not what you want it to demand. So you need to drop the ego. That means that a certain market, so a certain group of people, will have certain problems or certain solutions. You can't force what you think their problems are on them or give them the solutions that they don't necessarily want. So you've got to make sure you listen to the market and respond. The second thing is the market has to be starving to solve the problem. If the market just kind of wants this and is maybe about this, then they're probably not going to spend their money or their time doing this. Therefore, it's not a viable business model. So you have to make sure that the market is receptive to the problems that you're solving or the solutions that you're giving, and you've got to also make sure that they're capable to be able to afford it and work with you. Third thing, you have to be able to be qualified to get the result. There's no way you can go into a market and have a subpar solution. If you have a subpar solution, even though you might get one or two customers over the line, that ain't going to be the way to grow the business. So what I would say is start by solving smaller problems within a particular niche and then grow it from that way, because that way you can deal with more people. You might have to work with more people initially and then grow your pricing from that, but it's a great way to start and a great way to get your reputation and up your skills. Fourth thing, they have to be able to put their resources, time and money to pay and get the result, something that we talked about just earlier. Fifthly, it cannot be saturated. If you go to a saturated market, competition will be high. And if competition is high, it means that the cost per acquisition for customer, so the amount of money it takes to get a customer, is going to be higher. The amount of time is going to be higher, and customers have more options. So you need to be really, really competitive. That's very advanced. So you want to make sure, especially if you're just starting out, you're a few years in, you want to go to a market which is what is known as a blue ocean, okay, which is a common term. It means that you're competing against yourself and not in a red ocean where you're competing with lots of other different people. Another one here, it must be a specific problem and result. If you solve generic problems like be happy or feel healthy, you're going to be competing with so many different professions in so many different areas. So if you can focus down on a specific thing that makes people happy or a very specific thing that makes people healthy, and I'll show you some examples later that you can build for yourself, that is going to instantly make you stand out. The more that you can refine that, the more that you can attract people that is really specific to them. So if you focus on, instead of focusing on I help people with pain, and you focus on helping eliminate people with lower right back pain, that's what I have, then you're going to be much, much better to serve them, and they're going to be much more inclined to potentially work with you. And the final one here then, there must not be a great cheaper alternative that is easily accessible, okay? And there must be a reason to pay more for you. A good example of this is in the area of things like meditation. There's some great meditation apps out there that cost about £10 per month. Now, does this disregard going to meditation classes or working with meditation teachers? No, that is still an absolutely viable business and community to grow. But if something like that, you've got to make sure that what you do is noticeably better and beneficial and higher value compared to these apps, okay? So you've got to think about that within your particular area that you work in, whether it is in well-being, or it's within nutrition, or it's within coaching, or whether it's in Pilates, whatever. You've got to make sure that you have that little bit of differentiation that separates you from different alternatives. Okay, so now that we've looked at that, the first thing you want to do, and this is really, really important, is this is the ChatGPT logo, okay? And this is why I've got this in here. Whether you like it or not, when you're doing market research on things like niche or positioning, the whole research of the whole internet is on ChatGPT. So even when I'm working with clients, we can utilize AI, whether it's things like ChatGPT or other forms of AI, in order to find different things on research, which speeds up the process. So there's a few things you can find using this that I'm going to show you now. So a few things that you can help you do is use AI as well as yourself, to understand what are the three specific five-word problems that your market is experiencing. So what this is, if we look at this again, is we're looking for three very specific problems that your market face and be able to explain those in 5 words. Because the problem is, we either talk about problems with our potential customers that are way too generic and then they don't hit and they don't land, or they're not at the top of what our customers care about. So they're not at the highest problems, they're like a problem that's way down in priority. And the other thing is, we can talk about it way too much, like as in we can use way too many words to describe it. So what I'm asking you to do, and this is where you can use AI to help you, is to think about your market. So say if it's in the area of nutrition and you're thinking about working with men in their 40s with nutrition, that's the sort of niche you're going after, then start to explore and research on what are the 3 specific problems that men in their 40s have. And then start to look at saying that in 5 words. So specific things to do with that. Is it to do with their testosterone levels? I mean, I don't know, is it all these things? And then once you start to find that, you can see what you're best suited to serve them with, so that you are qualified to help them, and also they are getting exactly what they want, which is going to mean a big difference in their life for them. The same thing then to look at is trying to find these 3 specific, again, 5-word things we call North Stars. North Stars is the destination that your clients want to get to. This is in effect what they're paying for. They want to get to a particular point and they want you to keep them accountable and use your expertise to help them get them there. So again, the same process is, if we're taking the men in their 40s, what I would be doing right now is I'd be jumping into some sort of AI, or I'd be doing research across the internet to really find out what are their top 3 problems, not what their 9th top problem, 7th or 5th, they're real top ones that they care about. And I want to figure out which problems of those can I solve. And if some of those problems are too big, like I said earlier, we shrink them down so you can hone in and do a little bit of better work on smaller problems and then expand your experience and expertise. So find those North Stars, again, doing it in 5 words. And then the other thing then is starting to look at, like we've done, is 3 starving segments of people for those problems and solutions. So we can reverse engineer this almost. Instead of actually looking at the men in 40s, we can start looking at, okay, well, what problems am I really, really good at solving? Or what solutions am I really good at getting? And then what we can do in this method is we can look at what is a segment or a group of people that really want this problem solved, that really care about this, that are willing to spend their time, money, resources to get this fixed for them. If you can do it that way, if the other way is proving a bit too much difficult, then you can land on something. So for example, we could look at a different segment here. Actually, video editor, edit this bit out, stop at that end bit. Okay, next then, a little bonus here is something to really help when it comes to not just niche, but your positioning, is thinking about anything that differentiates or innovates. Okay, because anything that differentiates or innovates wins. What does that mean? It means solving a problem or getting to a solution differently from a lot of the competition. So if you think about a timeline of how service businesses have developed on the internet in the last 10 to 15 years, we talked about apps earlier with meditation. That wasn't around before. That really innovated and differentiated the way that you could deliver a service. A lot of ways you can do this now is how you deliver your service to new clients, how you can add new features, give them extras, give more value throughout the process, include technology, bring in other experts or resources. There's loads of ways that you can differentiate yourself against your competitors or other people within your market, that then you can deliver something that is a little bit different and gets them to their result better or solves their problem quicker. So make sure you're always thinking about innovating and differentiating when you're building offers, programs, courses, any service. Okay, what we're going to do then, now is that we've got a few of these examples, is the final point on this. People have to really, really care about the problem and the solution, or they will not bother either following or buying. Can't stress this enough, guys. The whole reason of this video, of you building up this niche, is hopefully to get the message that just randomly choosing a niche or randomly position yourself in a random way is not going to do the trick. I think that's where a lot of people go wrong. It has to be based upon research and just using some logic of what the market demands. Remember that first point that we talked about. It's not about you, it's about what the market demands. Business can be quite simple. It's about finding a problem and solving that problem. You've got to understand what skills and expertise that you have as a a qualified expert or a coach or a service provider, and then figuring out what segment really needs that. So you can niche down into that and solve it, and then position yourself in a way that is differentiates you from the actual competitors that you have. Right, what we're going to do and finish on is just giving a few ideas of different niches, okay? And we'll go into detail on one or two of these. So first of all, let's run down here. A niche could look like something like yoga for chronic pain management. It could look like nutritional counselling for autoimmune diseases, strength training for older adults. I personally think that is a massive one that's going to blow up with our aging population in the West. Cardiovascular fitness for heart disease recovery, mental wellness for LGBTQ and plus community, and holistic health coaching for stress management, okay? Let's look through these. Some of these I think are stronger than others, and I think you can even niche down a little bit more. But let's just use, what was the one that I quite liked here? The strength training for older adults as an example. Might have to zoom out a little bit. There we go. Strength training for older adults. So this would be developing strength and resistance training programs specifically designed for seniors. This niche aims to improve bone density, enhance muscle mass, boost metabolism, and increase overall physical stability, thereby reducing the risk of falls and improving the quality of life for older adults. So let's go in reverse there. We've looked at what their big North Star would be. Risk of falls. So really what the problem we're solving is we're reducing the risk of falls for older adults, okay? So that's like our big positioning that we're going to go. That's the content that we're going to be putting out there. That's maybe the ads that we're going to be using. It's about risk of falls. It's also a little bit about quality of life, okay? So that's to do with risk of falls, but are there any other big problems that older people are facing with quality of life? Is it the amount of doctor's trips? Is it the amount of medication that they're on? You know, it's thinking about those things. And let's imagine you were qualified in the area of strength training, and you were someone like that. Whatever you do now, you're thinking, what can I provide? What expertise can I provide in order to help people from that? Okay, so I love this niche here. We've got physical stability here, boosting metabolism, muscle mass. All of these things you can see are top problems that people are going to care about and buy. Then if you position yourself here where you get strength training, where you can build up some great credibility that you've got great client testimonials, or you also just how you deliver it, okay? Maybe older adults feel more isolated, so you offer like a local group thing, or it's online where you all come in and you do that like daily where they meet up. Okay, that could be something that could differentiate yourself instead of the classic one-to-one PT model. There's loads of ways that you can do this differently in any niche. You just got to think about, what does my client really want, where I can serve them at their highest point, because then if I deliver that much value, it is a no-brainer for them to work with me. The other thing on this, just like the strength training in older adults, the reason I like this is we know that there's an aging population in the West. There's a huge market for this. You can get then cite in your marketing loads of studies that I imagine with older adults maybe struggling with falling. We have a client that's a Pilates client that deals with osteoporosis specifically, and that was 2 million people in the UK. So it's a huge market. Okay, so you want to make sure that your market does that. Let's look at another one here that it could be, I'll just randomly, let's choose one I don't like as much. So holistic health coaching for stress management. Okay, so offering holistic health coaching that focuses on managing stress through a combination of diet, exercise, mindfulness practices, and lifestyle changes. The niche targets individuals experiencing high levels of stress, aiming to improve their overall well-being. I don't mind that. I think it's okay as a starting point. But what I don't like about it is holistic health coaching for stress management. Lots of different areas deal with stress. So you could look at therapy that deals with stress. You could look at exercise that a lot of their position says, deal with stress. You could talk about meditation that deals with stress. So for me, you've got a lot of competition there. So a good lesson for us would be, okay, stress management. Who is the most stressed? So I might look at a segment about lawyers, okay? Lawyers, I think, are the most stressed in the UK, at least, like the most stressed profession. I think it came out as a study. So I would maybe look into that if I start to target lawyers. But then I would look at research. Is there enough lawyers out there doing that? Or maybe it's to do with CEOs. And then I would maybe go away from the health coaching side of it. I wouldn't lead with that, and I would just lead with the segment is about reducing stress for lawyers or reducing stress for CEOs, and then differentiate and position myself a little bit differently from other people that might already be doing that. Okay, guys, so hopefully that's a good example. What I want you to do is to go through this, just start with understanding those 3 top problems, be really specific, those 3 top North Stars, also understand a segment that really demands a problem to be solved, and then also differentiating and innovating yourself, and then look at these examples and build it for yourself, okay? If you like this, please like the video. It does massive wonders for this small channel. Please comment and let me know how you're doing on niche, and I'll be happy to answer. Anyway, take care, and I'll see you in another video.